Anyone else? Hi.
Hi, Mike. With regards to this campfire test, so I write a song, and I have something in my head that I hear and it becomes a rock song or whatever, right? Do I submit it to EMI as a rock song, or do I strum it as if I'm playing it around the campfire? Which do I submit?
Well, I'm only human, so great demos definitely, to catch my ear as well, right? So if you have a great demo of a great song, that's better than having no demo or a campfire demo of a great song, in terms of getting me to be excited about your song. Many people make serious mistakes when they make the demos, though, and I would rather have a crudely demoed song than a wrongly demoed song. And Simon actually has a really good thoughts on demos, what they have to do for you. But in these days, if you're talking about pitching songs to artists that record other people's songs, that's a whole racket that she has a lot of recent experience with, and it's the demo is very important, right?
Yeah, it's incredibly important. And if you can't predict what the A&R person, because that's usually who's listening, is going to want, the best thing you can do is create a demo that doesn't get in the way of the song. So if this makes any sense, make sure that every part and every instrument serves the song. Makes it sound better, makes it sound more rich, more full, but don't lay slide guitar over it. Don't bring in a tuba. You know what I mean? Keep it simple.
They're all tuba songs.
And certainly in the pop world, we were talking about this earlier tonight, she's on the Backstreet Boys song, and the demo has turned into the record, and that's how it works in the pop world. I mean, the record companies have become, I guess lazy is not really the word, but they've become used to everybody fighting so hard to get on records that they bring them, master quality demos. And it's kind of like, we were trying to think of an analogy earlier with going into a condo. You want to go buy a condo, right? And you go to this building, and you go to this Unit 5 on the 17th floor, and you open up the door, and it's a brand new condo, but it's all painted, furnished, decorated, and everything. And you go, oh yeah, I could see myself living here, and say, I'll buy it and leave the furniture. That's kind of like the game for getting songs recorded by other artists. You take the A&R person to the finished model suite, where it's turnkey. They can easily envision themselves living in there, and they just have to walk in. And so you have to do all the thinking for them, and there's nothing left to the imagination. And if you do that, then they'll want to buy the production, and then they'll say, come over here. Here's like 10 grand or 100 grand or whatever it happens to be. Go take the artist in the studio next week and put the vocal on. That's really how it happens, right?
Yeah, but I mean, there are 10 guys in the world who do that regularly. It's rare, and it's a different job in a way. It's being a producer and a writer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael, how would you submit a tune to EMI or computer songs and not have them thrown in the garbage? Because I know from experience from these books that you buy that you submit things unsolicited material is just tossed. So how would you get a tune to you if you sent it across the
You're right. Technically, we don't take unsolicited material, and that's for two reasons. Mostly, it's a workload thing. I mean, managing resources thing. It's like that we just can't listen to everything that comes in the door. And really, frankly, 99.99% in the history of the music business of the unsolicited stuff has been crap. So it's every time somebody gets idealistic about it, so I'm going to listen to all the unsolicited stuff. And sooner or later, they realize, what? It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. So. But if I was going to accept it from you, I wouldn't want a piece of plastic. I wouldn't want an MP3. I'd want an email with a link to a MySpace. And why MySpace? Because I know the layout of it. I know exactly how to manipulate it. I know the audio quality, and it doesn't clog up my inbox with an MP3. And that's really the way we listen to almost every new thing now. And it's all about networking. So I described earlier the Sum 41 thing, right? I didn't go find them in a bar. One of my songwriters knew somebody who met them, right? And it's usually that. And again, it's sort of like making noise in the business. So it's kind of like, I think everybody has a dentist whose brother-in-law, whose sister knows somebody in the at Live 88. right? Sorry, not sorry. 88.5. Sorry, and
It's on the sign behind you.
yeah, I saw it there too, but
It's all over the place.
the dot. I get it now. There's a dot there, right? So, and you know, if your stuff is really that good, then people want to pass on. There's a genetic thing that some people just genetically predisposed to be excited about finding talent, and it may not even be their job, but you can find them everywhere, and they're in clubs, they're at booking agencies, you know, they're at radio stations, and when they hear something that really excites them, they can't stop talking about it, even if it's against their business interests. I can't tell how many times, like even I or my peers or record company people, when we find somebody new that we're really excited about them, we won't shut up about it. We tell our competitors, you know, oh, I just found this thing, it's fantastic, and they go, oops, I shouldn't have told them that, you know. So it's really more about, again, going back to one of my earlier comments, it's about making insanely great stuff. I know everybody thinks it's insanely great when you make it. It's human nature, you know. When, you know, I think my kids are perfect, you know, and everything I do and say is perfect, right? It's human nature, but. One of the great attributes that most of the really great talents have is at some point in their life, they develop a nose for when their shit stinks. And it really, that sort of self-editing, that self-analyzing thing is a really, when I see that light bulb go off in somebody's brain, I know they're destined to make it, because it's a really important skill that almost nobody has. And if you can master that and be really objective and not try and get EMI to hear your stuff until it is insanely great, then you know you'll create this ripple effect, and then I'll hear about you. You know, Lee will call me up and say, "You got to hear this guy." You know.
And that's how I was walked in, was because of Zach Werner heard me talking about music at the gym to somebody else, and at the gym, and I think that the thing that Michael is saying that is so important is everybody goes for Michael. Everybody wants you to hear their music instead of going to, you know, a lawyer or a manager who has access to you, who can walk into your office and say, it's passed through this filter. But to look for, you know, a secondary filter.
Also, too, you know, I have people whose opinions I really, really respect, and it's kind of like, you know, and maybe at this point in my life, I might not even know if it's any good, you know, because I'm so used to having, you know, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so who I depend on all telling me they love it. It's more like I manage people who find talent more than I find talent myself, you know what I mean? So, but that's the double key, is to make the great music and find the people who just get excited about new talent, and that's about networking, you know. Most really talented, successful people are pretty good networkers too, you know, either in person or online.